Stop scrolling. Right now. Look at your hand. Notice the repetitive, almost mechanical flick of your thumb. You think you are resting. You think this glowing rectangle is a window to the world, a temporary escape from your exhaustion. But you are not resting. You are actively performing unpaid labor for a machine. You are strip mining your own prefrontal cortex. You sleep 8 hours, yet you wake up completely drained. You stare at the ceiling, feeling a profound, inexplicable cognitive fatigue. Why? Because it's a silent extraction. You are paying an invisible bandwidth tax to a system that never asked for your explicit consent. It doesn't want your money. It wants your processing power. You are up against 1,000-layer deep neural networks, server farms sitting in sub-zero climates, playing a billion-move chess game against your primitive lizard brain. And they always win, because they have mapped your vulnerabilities better than you know yourself. Every flick of your thumb is a microtransaction. You are trading the most valuable resource in the known universe, your directed attention, for absolutely nothing. You aren't consuming content. The content is consuming you. It is optimizing itself, using your neural pathways. Let's look at the brutal physics of your attention. Popular psychology tells you this is simply a dopamine addiction, but that's a superficial diagnosis. It's not just the chemical. It's the geometry of anticipation. It's an evolutionary mismatch. Neuroscientists have mapped this mechanism precisely. They call it the reward prediction error, or RPE. This is the math that governs your compulsions. There is an actual formula executing in your basal ganglia right now. Delta equals actual reward minus predicted reward. In the ancestral savanna, an unexpected berry bush was a massive positive error. It meant survival. Today, an algorithm hijacks this exact circuit. When you swipe and see a boring video, the actual reward is lower than your brain predicted. A negative error. You feel a microdose of emptiness, a void that demands to be filled. Simply put, your brain is calculating disappointment. So, you swipe again. This is the weaponization of supernormal stimuli. In nature, a bird will abandon its own pale eggs to sit on a glowing, neon-painted artificial egg. Your feed is that neon egg. It is a hyper-reality engineered to outcompete the subtle, quiet rewards of a normal human life. The algorithm purposefully feeds you mediocrity to artificially lower your baseline prediction, because then, occasionally, you hit the jackpot. A highly stimulating, perfectly curated piece of content. The reward far exceeds the suppressed prediction. A massive positive error. This unpredictable intermittent reinforcement maximizes the entropy inside your neural network. Your brain did not evolve for infinite algorithmic novelty. You have been placed inside a psychological slot machine, wired directly to a global server farm performing neurochemical arbitrage on your mind. Modern science maps the mechanics, but ancient wisdom identified the core vulnerability thousands of years ago. There's a voice in your head that has no interest in the present moment. It exists only in the next swipe. Ancient Buddhist philosophers named it manas, and they described its behavior 2,500 years before your phone was invented. It is a structural error embedded in our very operating system, and it is still running today. It is the deluded sense of self that identifies entirely with the process of grasping. It is the invisible narrator in your head whispering, "Just one more video, just 5 more minutes, then I'll be satisfied." But manas cannot exist in the present moment. It isn't you who wants to keep scrolling. It is manas, desperately feeding on the RPE delta to maintain its own existence. When you finally put the device down, that sudden spike of anxiety you feel, that is not boredom. That is the phantom limb syndrome of the digital age. It is manas panicking because its artificial exoskeleton has been removed. It is the ego realizing its own emptiness. If the stimulation stops, Manas will whisper into your ear, describing that terrifying, vast silence of reality. Do you see the trap now? The algorithm hasn't just hacked your phone. It has successfully hacked your sense of identity. You think, I am scrolling through my feed. No. The action of scrolling is generating the illusion of you. You are being computed by the environment. The algorithm has weaponized your own manners against you, turning your search for meaning into an infinite loop of data generation. Now, let's talk about what you actually are. So, how do you escape an invisible, infinitely scaling prison? Your first instinct is to use willpower. You delete the app. You set a timer. You make a rule. But willpower is a trap. Willpower is a finite battery, while the algorithm has an infinite power supply. Furthermore, willpower is just manas, fighting manas. It creates internal friction, and friction generates heat, draining even more of your cognitive bandwidth. You cannot fight the system using the system's own rules. To break the loop, you must step entirely outside the equation. You must decouple the stimulus from the response. To use an imperfect metaphor, you must collapse the wave function of your attention. You don't fight the urge to scroll. You simply observe it. Create a microsecond gap between the desire and the action. You must become the silent witness to the algorithm. This isn't just philosophy. This is neuroplasticity. Every single time you pause and witness the urge without acting on it, you are allowing the old synaptic pathways to naturally atrophy. You are carving a new neural trench of sovereignty. You are writing your own code instead of executing theirs. Next time you feel that subconscious twitch in your thumb, pause. Do not judge yourself. Just watch the mechanism work. Watch the RPE formula trying to calculate. Watch Manas begging for its dopamine hit. In that precise, razor-sharp moment of pure observation, in that gap, you cut the power cord within your own mind. The algorithm loses its grip. The system resets. You are no longer the object being computed. You reclaim your bandwidth. Let me remind you what you actually are. You are not a user. You are not a demographic. You are not a data point waiting to be monetized by a server farm. In the grand, thermodynamic reality of a universe drifting slowly towards absolute zero and heat death, you are an illegal rebellion. Your focused consciousness, your directed attention, your cognitive bandwidth. This is the universe's most potent weapon against the inevitable increase of entropy. Believe me, you will create ripples of your own in this irreversible current drifting toward heat death. Do not give it away for free to a silicon screen. Stop being a user. Start being the process. You must build a cognitive citadel. Your attention is the only currency that actually exists. The algorithm is feeding on your entropy. You only need to stop and observe it. This microsecond of pause will plant a wondrous seed within your mind. Save this transmission as your cognitive anchor. Use it the next time you feel the pull of the void. If someone's face just popped into your mind while watching this, that person needs to see this video today. This is the first transmission in a 10-part system. In the next 2 episodes, we're going to reveal the other 2 attack vectors that are running against you simultaneously, right now, in your life, at this moment. The algorithm is only one of them. There are 2 more, and once you see all 3, you will understand the complete architecture of what is holding you back. The system has a name. Stay sovereign.